What's up, YouTube? Atheist Vapist checking in. Today we're going to be talking about the Taifun GT. Ooh. Look at this sexy beast right here. Oh, in all its glory. I got it sitting on the MVP 2.0. This thing's rocking at 11 watts right now. You got a single coil build in here, coming in at 2.2 ohm. Let's fire this thing up. Ooh, yeah, that is hitting fantastic. Rocking some 12 milligram of nicotine Granny's Inclination. I went for the high VG. I believe they said that is a 75-25, so 75% VG. Look at that. Lucky Ruckus has updated their labels. Ooh, I like it. This is exactly what I was talking about. You just needed something with a little more color, you know? You couldn't even tell about their Irish, let me see if I got an old bottle here. Yeah, look at that. Look at the comparison. What is the black blob there? You don't know. You don't know. But now, you can tell. It's their Irish alien. They got a little picture that they have on their website with the description. Got your lot number on there. Loving the new bottles, Lucky Ruckus. Perfect. This is exactly what you needed to do. It stands out now. I know that I am looking at a Lucky Ruckus e-juice instead of some no-name cheap brand that just slaps on a label. So thank you guys. And I appreciate you keeping your prices low even though you changed up your labels. So nothing else changed. All the prices are the same, and we get a little fancier label. So when it's sitting in on your with all your other juice bottles, you know exactly which one is going to be Granny's Inclination. All right. So normally with like my K-Fun and my Taifun, I throw these on a mechanical mod, like such. But I wanted to do it on the MVP just in case you're not a vapor that wants to go that route, and just to show you that it does work as long as you're not building like super low ohm builds. And since it's a single coil build in here, this thing can handle it just fine. So we'll fire her back up and show you how we're vaping on this. So yeah, you folks that like big clouds, you're going to be able to produce it on here even if you don't have a mechanical mod, which is nice. And the same goes with my K-Fun. It'll produce nice clouds on here. But I've been favoring the Taifun, and there's a reason why I'm throwing this in my contest instead of a K-Fun. And I think it's because the Taifun is an easier to build, rebuild as far as atomizers go. And I think for someone who's just getting into rebuilds, this is going to be the less frustrating route to go than a K-Fun. And it's not that a K-Fun is super complicated. It's just getting your wick to the right level can be a little tricky for a beginner or even someone who's been doing this a while, and that's me. I don't know how many times I've had to rebuild my K-Fun to get it just right. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm learning to just, manual wick by taking a puff and covering up the air hole on the K-Fun. So we got it right here. There we go. Yeah, so basically I'll just cover up the air hole of the K-Fun, take a puff, and fill up that juice well. That seems to be working pretty good. I'm hoping, I did have it built at a point where I didn't have to do that at all. And I didn't want to pull my wick out, but every 3 days it's got to be changed. So that's what I've been doing so far, and I'll do a video on the K-Fun even though there's a bajillion out there just because I haven't done one yet. But today, it's the Taifun, and that's mainly because I'm giving this sucker away along with the stainless Nemesis tube here, two 18650 batteries. So yeah, after I hit 100 subscribers, you're getting that sweet deal. I'm going to be giving away 3 15 ml bottles of e-juice, your choice in nicotine and flavor. From Rose City Vapesters. So yeah, pretty sweet deal. Even if you've already subscribed, you're still going to be entered into future contests. Even if you've already won, you're still going to be subscribed into future contests. So far I've had 2 winners. I'm still waiting to hear back from one of you. I sent you a message on YouTube, so hopefully you see this video. Check your YouTube messages. It's a little harder to get to people via YouTube, especially if you have a private profile. I don't have a way to see that you've entered my contest, so I'm going to have to figure out a new way to do this. Maybe once I hit 100 subscribers, I'll just put a post on my Facebook, and everyone that says something in that post will be officially entered. That might be the way I have to do it, just for ease of being able to send these things out and get a hold of people. I sent out an email, I think 2 or 3 days ago, so hopefully I'll hear back from the winner. If I don't by Sunday, I'm going to have to pick a new winner just to keep this thing rolling. So yeah, anyway, back to the Taifun. Again, we got it on the MVP. Let's see, I got a 2.2 build in there, roughly. Yeah, 2.2. Oh, that's crazy on there. Look at that. That's trippy. It doesn't do that when I'm looking at it. I think it's just the camera picking that weird thing up, that flashing. But anyway, let's puff on it again, just to show you that, yeah, you can get good vapor on these things. I mean, whew, yeah, no issues there. Hitting great, and that's just how I like it. So I've been taking this to school along with my dripper to kind of mix it up. You know, if I'm sitting down, I'll hit this thing. If I'm on the move, I'll go with this one. So, all right, let's pull this sucker apart here. The Taifun GT came in this, and this is a clone, by the way. I want you all to know. I ordered this from FastTech. It took about a month to get here. I'll put a link in the description because this thing was under 20 bucks. It hits great. All the connections are really nice on there. I've had no issues with threading. So I've got no complaints with this thing. If you want one faster, I'd go with eBay. But if you're not worried about the weight, the one from FastTech seems to be working just great. I've had this for about a month, so they are really, really into. You know, at this point, it's hard to call it a clone more than a straight rip-off if it's coming in the exact same box that the original is sold in. But I like the box. It's a nice little box. You know, I actually store other atomizers in here. Right now, I'm keeping my Pro tanks in here and stuff like that. But you know. It came basically like that. Ooh. So yeah, it did come with an extra screwdriver. Let me see, and some extra gaskets. Let's see, this is the screwdriver it came with, which is nice. I use that sometimes to wrap a coil or straighten them out. Some extra O-rings. So yeah, you know, I mean, not bad considering. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. So first off, the drip tip was a pain in the ass to put in there all the way. The gasket on there was really, really hard, but you can see up close. I got a little gunk on there. Ugh. Ugh, sorry, I wear lots of chapstick. Dry skin. Anyway, they got the Taifun label on the drip tip, which I really like. I don't know, I just like the look of this thing. It hits really nice. Good flavor. So, anyway, it's loosened up a bit now, just because I've been pulling it out and putting it back in. But that gasket, oh my god, that was, I mean, I was like having to torque it in there. It was a pain in the ass. So, and then we got our, you know, our chimney goes down in there, and a little juice build up here. So, perfect time to pull this thing apart for you people. Okay, so filling this thing up, super simple. You just flip it upside down after you pull the drip tip out. Let all the juice kind of drain to the bottom. Back into that juice well. And this is, again, a 5 ml tank, so you can hold a ton of juice in here. So I'm just letting that drip down and help it out. And it's super easy. All the threading is really, really nice. I mean, this is a $20 clone, okay? The original is over $100, so I got no complaints. The threading is fantastic. And they also sell, you know, clear tank, all kinds of attachments for this Taifun. That's the beauty in the Taifun clones and the K-Fun clones. There is a plethora of available attachments to, you know, change it up, make it clear, do a bajillion different things. So I really like that. And if you know, break apart, it's really easy to replace. So boom, there is where our coil is stored. And the chimney just rests down in like so. I'll give you a little better picture once I dump this out. I'm going to save this juice because it's my granny's inclination, and that is worth more than gold to me. So we'll put it in our old granny bottle here. I don't like to mix them in my new bottles just because sometimes, you know, a little bit of the grip from the coil being old in the wick kind of can get in the juice. So I just see how it's a little brown. I don't mind that. It still tastes fine, but I don't want it to mix in with my bottle of beautiful granny's inclination. Okay, so we got that dumped out of there. See if we can get a little close-up action here. There. So there's the chimney. And I basically fill up to just under that gasket there. So usually just under this line. You could probably... No, I wouldn't go any higher than that. You're going to end up dumping it in there. So yeah, just under that gasket. Seems to be fine. I fill this thing up every couple days. And because it holds so much juice, you're probably going to end up having to change out your wick right about the same time you're refilling it. So even though it is really easy to pull apart and do all that, chances are you're going to want to change out your wick anyway. Okay, again, threading real nice, so all just pulls apart. So that's, you know, this would be the top like that. Boom. But you know, when you're filling it up, it's going to be on the bottom. So got a little gasket in there, another little gasket, and you know, just a little juice well storage. So So real simple pieces. Go back together, and again, like I said, they sell various tank sizes, and you can get clear, or if you want solid, just stainless, you can go that route. I like to see where my juice is at. I understand those who want to just do stainless because it is a plastic tube. This isn't glass. It's not Pyrex or anything like that. It's just straight up plastic. So that can be an issue if you've got some of those corrosive flavors, cinnamon, menthol, mint, and citrus. If you crack tanks, so. I've personally never had it happen, but I avoid those flavors, so it's not an issue. If I did want to vape those, I would just throw them in my Pro Tank. Pro Tank 2 here, which is glass. And I'm going to be giving this thing away too. I think maybe when I hit 75 subscribers, I'm just going to give this away with some e-juice. I really like it, but personally, I don't ever use it. So this is better suited for somebody who's actually going to want to vape on it. So maybe I'll just do a special contest for those of you who don't do rebuilds, and I'll throw in some extra coils with this, and maybe I'll attach my tutorial on how to rebuild your coils for this, because it's super simple. Hell, I might even just toss you a few of these pre-built wicks with it when yeah, I'll do that. I'll send in I'll give you 20 already ready to go coils, so you don't even have to build it yourself. You literally just throw this in there. I'll show you in the video. Well, I do show you how to do your positive and negative and all that. So anyway, I'll throw in 20 of those, so you'll be ready to go to vape for quite a while. So yeah, that's the Pro Tank. So back to the Taifun here. I'm sorry I'm not doing an up and close one. I just don't really want to dick around with editing, so we're just going to kind of show you each piece as I pull it apart. So something to keep in mind. This part up here, when you unscrew from the top of the chimney, has a tendency to turn the base. So you want to be careful of that when you're screwing it back on, because you don't want to turn your base, because that's where your wick and everything rests, and you want it in that same spot. So yeah, that just comes off like so. Again, super easy. And this is kind of a cool feature. This thing you can either pull off, and I'll do that just for the demo, or it recedes back in there, and you can just press it down, and so you have access to your wick and your coil. See that? Just comes up or back down. So super easy. So I'm just going to leave it on for the sake of the rebuilding here. Clean that up a little bit. I'm going to burn off some of this grit and shit on here. Just 1 second. I'm just going to leave this coil on here, but I will show you what to do. And if you really want to learn how to build it, just check out Vaping with Twisted 420's video. And I'm just going to burn off the excess crap. The only problem with using this to burn it off, you can only hold the button for 10 seconds and it shuts off, so it doesn't get as hot. And that's why you want to use your mechanical mods if you're really, really wanting to vape like crazy. So I'm just going to burn off the excess. And your coils can last a long time if you do this. There's no reason to have to replace it every time. Just burn off the crap, clean them up a little bit, and they're still good to go. So I just kind of lightly dust it. You can run it under the sink as long as it's not attached to your mod, obviously. Kind of clean it up. So I just make sure it all is burning off. Still hitting good. Resistance still good, so no issues with the coil itself. Just for cleanliness sake, I'm going to pull that off here. So that's the chimney piece. It protects your wick and your coil. I'm going to kind of clean all the crap out of there. Let me pause this to get this thing really nice and cleaned up, so you don't have to watch me do it, and then I'll show you how to wick this. So I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. And through the magic of film, it's back and clean. Back off a little bit. I don't want to mess with autofocus, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at. But anyway, you can see we got a positive and a negative, and I don't know which one's which. Who cares? Doesn't matter as long as you got it attached one side to the other. But anyway, the screws in here are really nice. Vaping with Twisted talked about how his posts had a tendency to come out when he was unscrewing it. I have not had that issue with this one. And he also talked about the little airflow hole here, that his was having issues and he just pulled it out. I haven't had any of these issues, so I haven't had to do any of that. My ventilation, or my airflow in here is good enough for me. I know some of you people who are used to drippers and things, it's probably going to feel a little tight, but you know, it's about the same as the Taifun as far as that goes. So anyway, I'm fine with it. I've had no issues. You can see the little airflow holes right under the coil there. And I didn't do a crazy, you know, coil build in here. I wanted to be able to use my MVP, so I didn't want it to be too low. So I just did a really loose, you know, like 10 wrap coil. Alright, so that's that. So we're going to throw this chimney shield thing that goes, you know, around your wick and coil, which is kind of nice. It's got the Taifun GT. It's got some bullshit serial number since it's a clone. I don't know if that actually means anything. And with this, you just want to line these two slits here with your wick. And it's not like super important at this very second to do that, but when you pull it up, you just want it to be the same direction as your wick. And I've done it both ways. I've had my coil facing opposite of the pegs, with the pegs. I don't know. Maybe you've noticed a difference. I haven't. So I just put it in there because that's the way it was easy to put in there. Okay, so I've got some organic cotton here. This stuff you can order right off Amazon, like less than $3. Always go organic. They spray horrible, horrible things on cotton that you would not ever want in your lungs. You think smoking a cigarette is bad? Dude, use some non-organic cotton in your vaporizer and you've outdone a cigarette tenfold with as far as pesticides are concerned. That stuff is nasty. So anyway, off my soapbox and back to building. So I get a good amount of cotton, just enough that it's going to feed through the coil. This might be a little too much here. Just pull away some. So yeah, that looks about right. You want it to be a good amount with the Taifun, I've noticed. The K-Fun, it's real finicky, so you'll find that sweet spot, and I'll show you that in the K-Fun. But with the Taifun, you can get away with a little bit more wick. It's not as bitchy as the K-Fun with that, as far as that's concerned. All right, so we just feed thread. Oh, sorry, it's a little harder. I'm trying to film and do it at the same time. Thread the needle through the head. Okay. So you want a good amount, but not so much that you're going to distort your coil when you're doing it. But that looks to be about the right amount. And I just pull this up, but you want to be careful about that because if you pull it out, that has a tendency to do that. Okay, so I think we got it about right. Got the chimney pulled up. If I pull up, let's see if I can go a little bit more. Oh, I did it. I pulled it off. That's what happens. Okay, so now we got to feed it back on. I have to kind of twist this up. Well, I'm glad I did it for video's sake, because now you know why. You just want it just right. And again, that can be a little annoying, but it's not that big of a deal. You'll find the sweet spot. Just don't pull it up harder than that. Okay, found the sweet spot. Pull this apart here. Sorry, got so quiet. I'm thinking, I'm focused. Alright, got it lined up there. So now what I do is cut off some of the excess here. I'll show you about where I line it up. So I kind of put the scissors like right up against this thing and snip it off. Alright. So you don't need a ton of wick on the outside, but you just want a good amount to where it's going to actually plug up these holes. Now you put your top cap back on, like so. And this is where you want to hold this base piece here when you screw this on so it doesn't move, because as you can see it's lined up perfectly right now and I don't want it going anywhere else. And then it just kind of clamps down on those wicks, just like so. Real simple. And you can pre-wet your wick here which I'll do. Should have probably done that before I threw this thing on there, but you know, whatever. Just stick it in the hole and kind of moisten up the wick a little bit. But it moistens up pretty quick. So anyway, you can just jam it in there and kind of put in some juice if you want. Not a bad idea. Alright. So now, we've got our juice well, and again, got the bottom, well I guess the top as your bottom screwed on. Throw in some juice. Real simple. Nice huge opening. But keep that in mind, since it is such a big opening, you don't want to knock this thing over. You're going to make a mess. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to fill this thing up. One, I'm only got about half a 30 ml left of Lucky Ruckus, so I don't want to use it all up right now, just for the sake of the video. But I got some more coming in the mail. Thank you, Lucky Ruckus. Alright. This thing just goes right back on like so. Super, super easy. Just line it up with the chimney. Boom. Whoosh. Flip it back over. Watch the juice run. Ooh. Filling up. I probably should add a little more, but that's okay. It's enough to get the wicks wet, and that's what's important. Now we put our drip tip back on, and it's going on super easy now because the gasket's a little more worn in, but before, holy crap, that was annoying. Alright, throw it back on the MVP. Make sure we didn't mess anything up. I'll check the resistance. It went up a little bit, which is kind of weird. Maybe I tweaked the coil. Anyway, it's coming in at 2.5 now. Might have moved that coil around a little bit and made it a little shittier, but that's okay. Okay. Oh, you've got action. Oh man, that hit so nice. I just rebuilt that thing. It already soaked in enough juice to be firing up perfect. I've noticed a huge difference between this and the Taifun as far as dry hits go. I've never gotten a dry hit on my Taifun GT. I did have an issue with flooding it when I first built this. I didn't put in enough cotton. And you know, there's an easy way if you already wicked it and your coil is really nice and tight and you can't get any more. I just put kind of a flavor strip of cotton over it, and it worked perfect. It worked just fine. I had no issues. I did have to use it on a mechanical mod because it did need a little more heat since there was more juice. But you can kind of almost like plug up these holes on the side if you want to put a little more cotton, just at the very ends. It works totally fine. I've done it. I finally, you know, got to the point where I can just put in the right amount, so I don't need to do that. But when I was first building it, I wasn't sure if it was similar to the Taifun in its wicking system, as far as that goes, and I've noticed it is not. It is very nice, and I never get dry hits, so. Listen to that. You hear it? No, you can't. It's hitting fantastic. Alright, so that's the Taifun GT 5mm. This came from FastTech. I know they got a lot of harsh criticism, but it's because more to do with the fact that sometimes they don't exactly tell you everything about the product, so when you get it, it's not exactly what they said it was, and they're really slow with their shipping. But if you can be patient and watch a review first, and then order it, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you're willing to wait a month, this is my new all-day vape, the Taifun GT. For me, it's beating out the Taifun. I'm really excited for the Expromiser. I'm going to be doing a review on that as soon as I get it. They've been sold out forever. I keep emailing their customer service asking, when are you getting an Expromiser in? When are you going to get an Expromiser in? Can you ship to Oregon? Da, da, da. So hopefully one of these emails back will say, yes, we've got the one you want in. Send us your money and we'll send you our mod. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. So we'll see about that. I did want to say thank you to Drake on Twitter. I appreciate you. He's sending me an amp atomizer. Really excited to do a review on that. And I'm sorry, but I already forgot the other Twitter guy, but I really appreciate you being willing to send me some atomizers to review. That's really fantastic. This community is fantastic. Again, I'm doing a contest giveaway. When I hit 30 subscribers, I'm going to give away 2 10ml bottles of e-juice. When I hit 50, I'm giving away a 30ml bottle of Lucky Ruckus e-juice of your choice. And then at 75, I'm going to give away the Pro Tank with some e-juice. And at 100 is when I'm giving away the Nemesis, stainless Nemesis here, 2 18650 batteries, the Taifun GT, a charger, and 3 15 ml bottles of e-juice. So pretty sweet deal. And that's coming from Rose City Vapesters. Shout out to them. I appreciate you tossing in on this contest. I didn't have to pay a dime for those e-juices he's going to give away that you get to pick out. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you everyone in the community. Thank you for watching. Be sure to find me on Facebook.com/TheAtheistVapist, Twitter.com/AtheistVapist, and subscribe and like my channel. Alright, YouTube, peace and love everybody. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. Hopefully get another video knocked out tonight. And you all take it easy.